The Galactic Union had watched the stars for thousands of cycles, and nothing truly new had appeared in generations. Trade moved along fixed lanes. Border disputes ended with words instead of weapons. Warships still existed, but they were symbols, not tools meant to be used. Peace had grown comfortable, and comfort had grown into belief. That belief began to break when a deep space sensor far beyond Union borders reported an object entering known space. The object did not arrive with light or noise. There was no warp flash, no gravity ripple, no energy wake. It simply appeared, already moving at a steady pace toward a neutral star system dot at first. The report was dismissed as an error. Technician Mira recalibrated the array twice. The reading remained. She alerted her superior. Within minutes, the data reached the Union Council. The object was massive. Larger than any civilian vessel. Larger than most military ones. Its shape was sharp and uneven, as if it had been carved for function rather than beauty. No known species built ships like that. Hannah stood at her station in the observation chamber as the image grew clearer. She had studied first contact events her entire career. They followed patterns. Curiosity, fear, misunderstanding, then slow, trust. This felt wrong from the start. The object ignored all automated greetings. It crossed boundary markers without slowing. Defense stations powered up, unsure whether to react or wait. The silence stretched longer than protocol allowed. YURA, the Union's senior diplomat, stepped closer to the central display. Her voice stayed calm, but her hands were tight. "This vessel shows no energy spike," she said. "No weapon charge. No shield flare. It behaves as if it does not fear response." Fearlessness was more alarming than aggression. The Council ordered a defensive fleet to prepare, but not engage. Captain J received the command aboard his flagship. He stared at the incoming image, feeling something he had not felt since early training got unease. His fleet was modern, clean, and well-maintained. Smooth curves. Balanced systems. They represented the Union's idea of strength. The unknown ship looked like it belonged to a different idea entirely. As it entered the neutral system, it finally sent a signal. The translation engine struggled for seconds before stabilizing. "This is a human warship," the voice said. "Designation withheld. We request observation status only. No hostile intent." The chamber fell silent. Human was a name from minor archives. A distant species from a blue world near an unstable region of space. They were classified as developing, adaptive, and unpredictable. Not dangerous. Not influential. And yet the word warship echoed louder than anything else. Hannah pulled archived files as fast as her console allowed. Human history was scattered. Records of early expansion. Conflicts with unknown forces. Long gaps where data vanished completely. "They should not be able to build this," she said quietly. Yura nodded. "And yet they did." Captain J's fleet moved into formation between the unknown ship and the inner systems. Weapons remained unarmed, but targeting systems tracked every surface angle. The human ship slowed. Then it stopped. The distance between fleets remained fixed, as if measured deliberately. A second message arrived. "We will hold position," the voice said. "We respect your territory. We ask the same. No threat. No apology. Just statement. Hours passed. No movement. No escalation. Hannah studied the ship's outer hull. Scars covered its surface. Not damage from age, but from repeated impact. Layers of armor overlapped in uneven patterns. Repairs had been done without care for appearance. "This ship has been in many battles," she said. "Against whom?" Yura asked. Hannah had no answer. A small pirate group, drawn by rumors of a standoff, slipped into the system. They believed the Union fleet was distracted. They believed the silent ship was a bluff. They attacked. The human warship responded before Union sensors finished updating. One pulse of energy spread outward, precise and controlled. Pirate engines failed instantly. Weapons shut down. Hulls drifted powerless. No explosions. No debris. The pirate crews were alive. The Union fleet did nothing. There was nothing left to do. Captain J felt cold realization settle in his chest. The human ship had not defended itself. It had defended the system. A final message followed. "We will not pursue," the voice said. Threat neutralized. Observation continues. The Council watched in silence. The galaxy had just seen a display of force that was measured, restrained. An absolute. Hana understood then that this was not a warning of invasion. It was a reminder. Humanity had arrived. Not asking for fear, but no longer avoiding it either. The human warship remained motionless for 3 full cycles after the pirate attack. No signals were sent. No systems flared. It simply stayed where it was, like a dark moon watching the system breathe. The Galactic Union did not sleep well during that time. Hana spent most of those hours inside the data chamber, pulling every fragment connected to humanity. The archives resisted her effort. Human records were incomplete, scattered across sealed vaults and forgotten reports. It was as if someone had chosen to erase them slowly. She found stories of early human colonies destroyed without warning. She found records of wars against enemies that had no names, only numbers. She found notes that spoke of evacuation fleets that never returned and defense lines held until the last signal faded. Humanity did not expand easily. It survived. Yura joined her quietly. "You look like someone who has learned something she did not want to know." Hannah did not look up. "They should not exist," she said. "Not after what they faced. Any other species would have broken." "Yet they did not," Yura replied. "Captain J received new orders. He was to move closer, not to threaten, to observe." His fleet advanced slowly, careful not to appear aggressive. The human ship adjusted its orientation, but did not retreat. A channel opened. "This is Commander Doyan," the human voice said. "We acknowledge your approach." The voice was calm, not formal, not cold. Captain J answered. "State your purpose." There was a pause. "We are here because silence is ending," Doyan said. "Your space is not as empty as you believe." That response spread unease through the bridge. Hana listened from the council chamber as the feed streamed live. "They know something," she said. "Everyone knows something," Yura replied. "The question is what they fear." Doyan requested limited data exchange. Not technology, not maps. Only historical records of unexplained losses near the galactic rim. The council hesitated. Then Hana spoke. "We have those records," she said, "and we have never understood them." Permission was granted. As the data transferred, the human ship reacted for the first time. Energy flowed across its surface. Internal systems shifted. The warship was thinking. Minutes later, Doyan spoke again. "You lost 13 systems," he said. "We lost 57. The chamber fell quiet. "These events are connected," Doyan continued. "Your losses were warnings. Ours were lessons." Captain J felt a tightening in his chest. "Lessons for what?" "For survival," Doyan said. Hana watched the human ship's schematic appear on her screen. The design was layered. Every system had backups. Every backup had a sacrifice option. Entire sections could be sealed and abandoned without loss of core function. "This ship expects to be damaged," she whispered. "Why you are," and nodded slowly. "It expects to endure." The council asked why the humans had come alone. Doyan answered simply, "Because we always do." That sentence carried more weight than any threat. As talks continued, Long-range sensors detected movement beyond the system. Small at first, then more. Unknown signals flickered in patterns that matched none of the known species. Union analysts labeled them anomalies. Human systems labeled them early scouts. The main body follows, Doyon said. It always does. Fear spread openly now. The galaxy had relied on distance and diplomacy for too long. Their fleets were built to deter neighbors, not nightmares. Captain J asked the question no one else would. Why warn us? Doyon did not answer immediately. When he did, his voice carried something close to tired honesty. Because we were warned once, he said, and we ignored it. The Council authorized closer observation of the human warship. Small Union drones approached its hull. They scanned scars, repairs, and markings that were not decorative, but functional. Each mark told a story of survival. Hana realized that humanity did not see warships as symbols of power. They saw them as shelters, last homes that moved when all others fell. A new signal interrupted the analysis. One of the anomalies accelerated suddenly and vanished into deep space. It is mapping, Doyon said. Testing response time. Captain J's fleet moved instinctively, tightening formation. Do not waste energy, Doyon advised. Save it. That was not how the Union fought. They believed in early dominance. Strong displays. Clear warnings. Human doctrine was different. They waited. As the cycle ended. The human warship powered down several visible systems, reducing its signature instead of increasing it. Hana understood the message. Humanity was not showing strength to impress the galaxy. It was preparing to fight something that did not care, who stood in the way. And for the first time in centuries, the Galactic Union realized it might not survive alone. The days that followed changed the rhythm of the system. Union ships adjusted their patrol paths to match the human warship's position. Trade vessels rerouted quietly. Civilian traffic slowed. No one said the word fear, but it shaped every decision. Commander Doyon requested a limited meeting, not a formal council session, a working exchange. Captain J agreed. The connection opened without ceremony. Doyon appeared on the screen, seated in a plain command chair. The background showed a bridge filled with crew members moving with calm focus. No banners, no symbols of rank beyond simple markings. We will speak plainly, Doyon said. Time matters. Captain J nodded. We are listening. Doyon shared sensor data gathered beyond the rim. The images showed shadows moving through starless regions, bending radiation and swallowing signals. They traveled slowly, but they never stopped. These entities do not conquer, Doyon said. They consume pressure, resistance, and reaction. They grow stronger when opposed badly. Hannah watched the feed from the council chamber. Then how did humans survive? She asked. Doyon looked directly at the camera. By learning how to lose slowly. The phrase unsettled everyone. He explained that human fleets had once fought with pride in numbers. They lost quickly. Worlds fell because humans tried to protect everything at once. After that, they changed. They learned to delay, to trade space for time, to protect people instead of territory. Captain J listened carefully. Union doctrine valued borders and balance. Human doctrine valued endurance. Doyon requested permission to deploy small beacons across nearby systems. Not weapons. Early warning tools that would burn themselves out once detected. The council debated. Yura argued in favor. If they wanted control, they would have taken it already, she said. Permission was granted. Human drones launched silently. They were small, fragile, and temporary. Hana noted the pattern. They expect these to be destroyed, she said. Yes, Yura replied. And they are comfortable with that. As hours passed, Reports arrived from the beacons. The anomalies were changing course. Not away. Toward the system, Union fleets shifted uneasily. Captain J requested tactical advice. Doyon answered with a single instruction. Do not chase. Do not cluster. Do not try to win early. That went against every instinct J had. The first enemy contact occurred at the edge of the system. A shape unfolded from darkness, vast and wrong. Union sensors struggled to track it. Weapons fire passed through empty space as if the target had already moved. Union ships panicked and fired harder. The enemy reacted. Energy waves rippled outward. Shields failed. Systems overheated. 3 Union cruisers were disabled in seconds. Before panic could spread further, the human warship moved. It did not rush forward. It slid sideways, placing itself between the enemy and the damaged ships. Its weapons fired not at the enemy core, but at space around it. Fields formed. Paths closed. The enemy slowed. Hana realized the humans were shaping the battlefield instead of attacking directly. Containment, she whispered. Captain J followed Doyon's instructions. His remaining ships pulled back, spreading wide, resisting the urge to press the attack. The enemy pushed forward, colliding with invisible barriers created by the human ship. Each impact drained it slightly. Minutes passed. Then hours. The enemy retreated. It did not flee. It withdrew, as if reconsidering. The system survived. Damage reports flooded in. Losses were real, but far lower than expected. Union officers looked to the human warship with a mix of relief and disbelief. Doyon addressed the fleet. This was a test, he said. It wanted to see how you respond to pain. Captain J felt shame. We failed. Doyon shook his head. You learned. Repairs began. Human engineers offered assistance without conditions. They shared techniques designed for fast recovery rather than perfection. Hana walked through a shared operations space for the first time. She observed human crew members resting in shifts, eating simple food, speaking quietly. They are not afraid, she said to Yura. They are, Yura replied. They are just used to it. Another message arrived from the beacons. Multiple signals now. The main body was closer. The council convened again. Panic threatened to break order. Doyon made no demands. He made an offer. Fight with us, he said, or we will fight alone in front of you. That choice changed everything. Captain J stood before the council. If we do nothing, we lose slowly and without meaning, he said. If we stand with them, we may lose, but not empty. The vote passed. For the first time in history, Union fleets adjusted their doctrine to match. Human strategy. They learned to retreat without. Shame. They learned to protect lives over lines. And as the stars darkened beyond the rim, humanity did not take command. They stood beside the galaxy, ready to endure what came next. The galaxy did not give them time to adjust fully. Within 2 cycles, the main enemy force arrived. It did not enter like a fleet. There were no lines or formations. Space itself seemed to dim as shapes unfolded from nothing. Sensors screened and failed. Navigation markers drifted out of alignment. Stars bent at the edges of vision. Union crews felt fear turn sharp and immediate. Captain J stood on his bridge as reports arrived faster than they could be sorted. Border systems went silent one after another. Not destroyed, smothered. The enemy was learning. Commander, Doyon's warship moved ahead of the combined fleets without waiting for orders. It placed itself between the advancing darkness and the nearest inhabited world. This line holds, Doyon said over the open channel. Not because it must. Because if it breaks, too many will run. Union ships formed behind the human vessel, uneven and nervous. They had trained for balance and symmetry. This battle offered neither. The first wave struck. Energy drained from shields as if pulled by invisible hands. Hulls groaned. Systems flickered. Panic rose when weapons fire vanished into distortion. Union captains called for permission to retreat. Doyon answered before the council. Could speak. Not yet. The human warship absorbed the pressure. Its outer layers burned away in controlled failure. Plates detached and drifted, drawing the enemy's attention. Hana watched from the command chamber, heart pounding. They are letting themselves be hit, she said. Yes, Yura replied softly. On purpose. Human counterfire began only after the enemy fully committed. Not a barrage. Not a strike. A net fields unfolded in overlapping patterns, trapping portions of the enemy force. Union ships followed the signal cues, firing only when indicated. Losses slowed. The enemy reacted violently. A massive surge tore through the battlefield. 3 Union ships were lost instantly. Crews vanished without time for signals. Captain J felt the weight of command crush his chest. We cannot hold, he said. Doyon's voice came steady. We can bleed. The human ship took a direct hit. Internal alarms flared. Entire sections sealed. Life signs dropped. Hannah gasped. They are losing people. They planned for it, Yura said, voice tight. Damage reports from the human vessel showed something impossible. Despite catastrophic loss, core systems remained stable. Power rerouted automatically. Command never faltered. Union engineers stared in disbelief. They built this ship knowing it would break. One whispered, that is why it still stands. Hana replied. As hours passed, the enemy slowed again. It pressed harder, but gained less. Each advance cost it more energy than before. The battlefield filled with debris, drifting armor, and fading light. Civilian evacuation ships escaped behind the line. Protected by the human vessel's shadow. Captain J made a choice. He ordered his fleet forward, not to attack, but to replace damaged Union ships holding the rear. Losses continued. But the line did not break. Doyon opened a private channel to J. His image showed blood on his temple, but his eyes were focused. This is the moment, he said, when you decide who you are. J swallowed. We are not built for this. Doyon shook his head. No one is. You learn by standing anyway. The enemy began to pull back again, uncertain. Doyon did not allow relief. Do not chase, he warned. This is not victory. The human ship's engines flared weakly as it repositioned, covering another sector where Union defenses had failed. Hana realized the truth then. The human warship was not protecting space. It was protecting time. Time for evacuations. Time for fleets to adapt. Time for fear to become resolve. The enemy withdrew beyond sensor. Range. Silence followed. Emergency lights flickered across the combined fleets. Casualty lists grew longer by the minute. The human warship drifted, scarred and dark. More than half of its outer mass was gone. Fires burned inside sealed compartments. Captain J opened a channel, unsure if anyone would answer. Doyon did. We are still here, he said. Hana exhaled for the first time in hours. The council reconvened, shaken and changed. Arguments about protocol felt small. Now, Yura addressed them. If we survive this war, she said, it will not be because we are stronger. It will be because we learn to endure together. Repair crews moved to assist the human ship. Humans allowed it. They shared techniques, not secrets. Fast patches. Hard choices. No wasted motion. Union crews worked beside them, learning by doing. Long-range sensors reported new movement beyond the rim. The enemy was regrouping. No one celebrated. Commander Doyon sent one final message to all fleets. This was not the end. He said. This was proof. Proof that the enemy could be slowed. Proof that the line could hold. And proof that the galaxy no longer faced the darkness alone. The enemy returned with force, meant to end all doubt. It did not rush. Its surrounded dark shapes appeared across multiple systems at once, cutting routes and choking signals. The galaxy felt smaller, tighter, as if space itself had decided to close. The Galactic Union prepared for collapse. Evacuation orders spread. Civilian fleets moved along protected corridors carved out by earlier sacrifice. Union commanders waited for the moment when those corridors would fail. The human warship did not wait. Commander, Doyan ordered what remained of the vessel into motion. Power flowed only to systems that mattered. Comfort was abandoned. Safety margins vanished. This ship will not survive another full engagement, an officer reported. Du-Yun nodded. Then it will survive long enough. Captain J received the plan moments later. It was not a battle plan. It was a promise. The human ship would draw the enemy into a single direction, not to destroy it, to hold it. Union fleets were instructed to do something unthinkable. They were told to fall back, not in panic, not in pieces together. Hana watched the movement unfold across the map. The galaxy bent its habits around human logic. Ships retreated by design. Lines shifted without breaking. This is not running, she said. Yura nodded. This is choosing where to stand. The human warship surged forward into the darkest region of space yet. The enemy closed around it like a slow tide. Weapons fire no longer mattered. The fight became pressure against pressure. The ship's outer hull vanished in sheets of light. Internal compartments sealed and went silent. Names disappeared from crew lists. The ship kept moving. Union ships at the edge of the battle began to understand what humanity was giving them. Time. Captain. Jay ordered his fleet to turn. They did not attack blindly. They struck where the enemy stretched itself thin, following the patterns humans had taught them. They focused not on damage, but disruption. The enemy faltered. For the first time, it reacted too slowly. A cascade formed. Pressure collapsed inward. The enemy mass folded on itself, trapped by its own advance. The human warship burned at the center of it all. Doyan remained on the bridge. As systems failed one by one, the ship shook constantly no. Gravity stuttered. An officer asked for permission to evacuate. Doyan looked at the remaining crew. Those who can go, go, he said. Those who stay, stay by choice. No one moved. The final command went out to all Union fleets. Now, Doyan said, Union fire converged. Not a flood. A focus. The trapped enemy mass collapsed fully. Light tore through darkness. Space screamed. Then it was over. The battlefield fell quiet. The enemy was gone. Sensors confirmed it across all systems. No retreat. No fragments. Victory did not arrive with cheers. The human warship drifted. Broken and dark. Captain J opened a channel, his voice tight. Human vessel, respond. Seconds passed, then a weak signal. This is Doyan, the voice said. We are still here. Relief spread like breath after drowning. Rescue operations began immediately. Union ships moved without orders, forming shields around the drifting wreck. Escape pods were recovered. Survivors were pulled from sealed sections. Many did not answer. Hana watched names scroll past. She understood now why human records were incomplete. They paid in people. The council gathered days later, changed beyond recognition. No one spoke of borders or influence. Yura addressed the assembly. We asked what humanity could offer the galaxy, she said. They answered by standing where we could not. Captain J stood beside her. They taught us that survival is not pride, he said. It is responsibility. The Galactic Union issued a new classification. Humanity was no longer listed as minor. They were named Guardians. The damaged warship was towed to a safe orbit. Repairs would take years. No one rushed them. Doyan met Hana once, briefly, in a quiet corridor. "You saved us," she said. He shook his head. "You stood with us." Beyond the rim, space was calm again. The galaxy would remember the first contact not as a threat, but as a moment of truth. When a human warship arrived, the galaxy learned what it meant to endure, and it would never face the dark the same way again.